Hello guys and welcome to Odds on Copa Libertadores second leg, last 16. Leo was right in most of his tips last week, so let's go with the show. Remember, leave your comments, tell us if you enjoy the Copa Libertadores and subscribe to our channel. And now let's go on with the show. Second leg of the last 16 round of the Copa Libertadores. We had a very good run actually in the first leg, Leo. So excited to see the next 8 games in South America. How are you, Leo?
How are you, Edu? Yes, absolutely. So tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are going to be massive in South America. They were we had, I believe, very good games in this round of 16 first leg. So hopefully we're going to get more of the same for the second legs.
And everything is open, I would say, except Palmeiras, that they are in the quarterfinals. Yeah. So we have a great week. Let's start. Leo, with the first game, we have Atletico Mineiro, Emelec, and this one is still open. We saw a 1-1 in Ecuador with Alan sent off for Atletico Mineiro. They are in a good run in the Brasileirao. They are third, only 2 points away from the top. But again, they have to beat Emelec in this match. Only one victory for Emelec in the last 5 rounds, and they already played in Brazil, Leo, in this Libertadores, was against Palmeiras, and of course they lost. The bookies place Atletico Mineiro super favorite, only 1.3 to win.
Yes, absolutely, and that game against Palmeiras we talked last week, and they did quite well because they only managed to lose, or they managed to lose only 1-0 on that night. The game in Guayaquil in the end, yes, was a very good draw for Emelec because it basically kept the tie alive for this second leg in the Mineirao. There were 2 games in Guayaquil, one until the 58th minute of the match when the Atletico Mineiro was ahead after Ademir scored in the first quarter of the game. And from there, the Brazilians controlled the game, did not suffer, to be honest, too much in their own area. It was a relatively quiet night for Everson in goal until the 58th minute when the second part of the game started, after Nathan went for an aerial duel against Jimenez in his own area, but using the elbow more than VAR is happy to allow, and Sebastián Rodríguez in the end took the opportunity to equalize. From there, Emelec started to play in Mineirao's half, and even more after you say Alan was sent off. Anyway, those led by Ismael Rescalvo could not generate many occasions on Everson's goal, and Mineiro in the counter generated danger on a couple of occasions. Pedro Ortiz having to appear to deny or to save a 1v1 against Hulk, and actually Edu Hulk had the chance to make it 1-2 in the 91st minute with a penalty, but Pedro Ortiz, the Ecuadorian goalkeeper, who is going to be in Qatar, actually saved it. On that night, that penalty, Edu, was the third consecutive penalty in the Copa Libertadores that Hulk could not score. He missed with Boca in the quarterfinals second leg of last year. He missed against Palmeiras in the semifinals first leg of last year also. And as I said, against Emelec in Guayaquil. But the funny thing is that after the match, Hulk replied on Twitter to an account that posted these penalty stats saying, don't worry about me because I will keep taking them. And what happened this weekend against Juventude in the Brasileirao? Mineiro had a penalty, and this time Hulk scored. So I expect, even despite this awful recent record on the Copa Libertadores, if there is a penalty on the night, Hulk will take it for sure. So yes, Mineiro, Edu, the favorite, is clear they should be taking their spot in the quarterfinals within the 90 minutes. Goals over 2.5 at 1.96 sounds good to me. Edu, Emelec is the third team with most goals in the Copa Libertadores, behind Palmeiras and River Plate. I'm saying this because I will also look at both teams to score with odds of 2.63.
All right. Then, Leo, let's move on to the next one, and it's a good one, perhaps one of the most interesting ones. Boca Juniors Corinthians. When we spoke about this tie 2 weeks ago, the bookies placed Corinthians as favorites, but after the goalless draw, Leo, in Brazil, now the odds are switched. And Boca, they are favorites, 2.05 for the Xeneize to win this game, 4.5 for Corinthians. How do you see this tie? How did you see the first leg between these two big clubs in South America?
Yeah, it was a very, very tense match. To be honest, I think even though Corinthians, of course, had the opportunity of the game with a penalty that in the end, Agustin Rossi, the Boca Juniors goalkeeper, saved it. I think Boca did a very good job in Sao Paulo. I agree that they have the edge for this second leg playing at home in La Bombonera. But then if you look at the results during the weekend, it's difficult to think who arrives in worse shape, because Boca lost 3-0 at home and Corinthians lost 4-0 away against Fluminense in Rio de Janeiro. The Timao lost the opportunity to catch Palmeiras at the top of the table. Boca is winless in their last 3 games with 2 defeats. Those 2 defeats coming in domestically and in La Bombonera. The best chance, as I said, was for Roger Guedes, and he ended up becoming the villain of the match when he missed the penalty. But Agustin Rossi, Edu, and it's important to know it because he saved it and show how good he is in penalties. He saved 5 out of the last 7 penalties they shoot against him in regular time. So, but going back to Corinthians, Vitor Pereira, the Timao's Portuguese coach, Edu, is having a massive headache, to be honest, a migraine, to make the team, because he has 9 players injured. So it's difficult to know who's going to play the match. Talking about the very important players, William is actually almost out of the game. Renato Augusto is also almost out of the game. We don't know if William is going to play again, even with the Corinthians t-shirts, as the president of Corinthians has said. For me, as I said, Edu, Boca is favored to go through the quarterfinals. Even in the event of penalties, if that happens, Boca is also favored there because of what I said about Rossi. Anyway, I do not expect the game to reach that kind of nerve-wracking definition. Battaglia's team had a good performance in Sao Paulo. They were feeling also that VAR should have been used in the second half when they claim a penalty after Sebastian Villa's cross touched Nathan's hand. Overall, anyway, the result was fair, but the impression was that Boca left the Corinthians arena with a bigger favorite tag than when they arrived. So, Edu, Boca to win at 2.1 is reasonably good. Boca to be the first team to score at 1.73 is also something that I will be looking at. And then look at this, Edu. When Boca played Corinthians in the 5th game of the group stage, the corners stat showed 10 of them in a game where Boca needed to win. Then when you look at the last match of the group stage with Deportivo Cali, with Boca needing the 3 points to qualify in La Bombonera, then again, 10 corners. In Sao Paulo last week, 8 corners between them. So with La Bombonera pushing from the beginning, I expect the Boca Juniors team that will try to play in the Timao's half with Villa and Ceballos on the flanks, which could result again on many corners on the night. So over 10.5 corners has odds of 2.43.
You know who likes the corner market, no, Leo?
I know. Someone called Álvaro Romeo, I guess you would say.
Exactly, our friend Álvaro Romeo. He's a corner specialist, especially when his team is playing Athletic Bilbao in San Mamés. Also your team, as we can see behind you with the Boca t-shirts. You are confident about this game. Boca Corinthians, best of luck, Leo, for this game. Another Brazilian team
Yeah.
Now, Atletico Paranaense traveling to Paraguay, to Asunción, and also this tie is open because it was only a 2-1 result for the Brazilian team. In Brazil, all the goals scored in the first half. We saw this game already in the group stages, and Libertad was able to win in Asunción, 1-0 actually. Libertad won all 3 games in Asunción. So, Leo, can you see some options for the Paraguayan team to do a surprise? It will be a surprise if they are able to kick out Atletico Paranaense from this Libertadores.
It will be a surprise, and I think they can manage it. I think they have the know-how with Dani Garnero as well of how to do these things. And I trust them. Edu, definitely. I told you last week that I watched all of the Libertad matches in the group stage, and I didn't feel that the gap with Paranaense was as big as the odds were suggesting last week when we done our first leg show. And after the match was played, they produced again another good display, more conservative this time, I would say, but still good, leaving Brazil with the tie very much open. So when you look now at the odds, this time we see Libertad as favorites, and I will agree with that. We spoke of the poor weekend that Boca and Corinthians had. Well, very much the opposite this time with Libertad and Paranaense, because the Asunción team won 4-0 away from home with a brace from Tacuara Cardoso, and they are top of the league, 7 points ahead of Cerro Porteno, whereas the Brazilians shocked the Atletico. Shocked the Brasileirao because they won against Palmeiras 0-2 away from home, and not just that, because the Verdao played the best 11 they could, but Atletico Paranaense did not play at their best potential because Luis Felipe Scolari prioritized the second leg in Asunción. Was the 6th straight victory for Paranaense, and Felipao is on a run of 13 games without defeats, with 10 wins and 3 draws since he took over in Atletico Paranaense. Atletico, yes, won a minimal advantage with the 2-1 victory at the Arena da Baixada. The positive result, anyway, Edu, brought few lessons, I believe, for the Brazilian team for the return game. Scolari is the third manager so far for Paranaense in this Libertadores, but there is something that all of them suffer, all their managers suffer. Rivals' goals after crosses. Actually, the 8 goals that Paranaense suffered in this Copa Libertadores, they all came from a cross, either from open play or from a set piece. So, playing against a Paraguayan team who knows how to play in the air, who are strong in the air, in this case also the case for Libertad, that's why this should be a worry for Atletico Paranaense. Here, my view stands with the Libertad win at 2.43. Goals over 2.5 with equals odds of 2.5. And Libertad being the last team to score with odds of 1.90.
Okay, options for Libertad. Now a very balanced one. The full Argentinian tide, Colón Talleres. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and you were saying also that it was very balanced. And indeed, we have a one draw now in Santa Fe. Colón are favorites. Odds are 2.2, despite, Leo, the bad moment of both teams in the domestic competition.
Yeah, absolutely. I still see Colón as well as the favorite. They have a little bit more of a know-how, as I explained last week, with Julio Cesar Farcioni, their manager, who has been in this type of situation. For Talleres, everything is new. They never played a round of 16 of a Copa Libertadores. Colón wants to reach the quarterfinals after 24 years. And the game in Cordoba, in the Mario Alberto Kempes, to be honest, even though I was expecting, as I said, a very tight match, but it was in the end different script. It was a very open game. Many opportunities for both, for Colón and for Talleres. Talleres in the end find it, the equalizer, 3 minutes in the 87 minutes of the game, with only 3 minutes to go, when Chope Avila opened the score in the second half for Colón. But this time for me is difficult to see a game this open because the nerves are going to be different. They know what is at stake. The quarterfinals is just now 90 minutes away. Before, even though I believe at least in the way I see the things, they went against the script because the game was very, very open. You could tell, okay, there were 180 minutes to play, but now the nerves are going to be different. So I cannot see a match as open as we saw in the third leg. It's true the moments they are in the Argentinian league for both teams are not good. Actually, going on into Wednesday night, you could look at Colón and you will see that they are winless in their last 5 matches with 3 defeats. They lost this weekend away from Santa Fe. For Talleres, the preview to the second leg was a little better with the draw also away from home. But the parity between these 2 teams are even there when you look at the table in the Argentinian league, with Colón sitting 21st and Talleres 22nd in the league. Yes, because we have 28 teams in the first division. That's why I have to go that high when I name the positions of these 2 teams. But Edu, I wouldn't expect many goals here. Goals under 2.5, low, but correctly at 1.62. And within the 90 minutes, I will seriously look at the draw here with odds of 3.25. Or if you prefer to be more conservative but still look at a draw at halftime shows odds of 2.01.
All right, very balanced this one, and the more unbalanced one is Palmeiras Cerro Porteno. This is over. The current champions show why they are one of the favorites to win again the Copa Libertadores, why they won all the games so far in the competition, 0-3 in Paraguay. So game over. Leo, where do you find good odds for this game?
Yes, absolutely. Settle this tie for you and for me. Actually, that's what I'm saying. Abel Ferreira was playing his best 11 on the weekend, knowing that this second leg with Cerro Porteño is pretty much done. I cannot see a miracle here. I will look for Palmeiras to score in both halves, Edu, at 2.07, and half-time, full-time market with home written both times stands at 1.87, and also I will expect goals here, goals over 2.5 with odds of 1.93.
And even Palmeiras, Leo, they lost at the weekend with the
0-2 against Paranaense.
Exactly.
But with the tie almost or settled already, I expect them to score again and have a free ride at home.
All right, and the other massive favorite for this Libertadores is Flamengo. They also beat Deportes Tolima away 0-1, but this is still open 0-1 in Colombia with that goal scored by Andreas Pereira. Deportes Tolima, top in the league. They know how to win in Brazil. They did it this season twice against América Mineiro and against Atletico Mineiro. But I guess same as for Cerro Porteño, perhaps slightly more options, but you see this tie over as well, Leo?
I think Flamengo here should be taking the spot in the quarterfinals. Deportes Tolima played a good match at home anyway. When we recorded the preview of the first leg, I mentioned that Tolima was about to play a final to become the champions of Colombia for a third consecutive time. However, not everything went according to plan. It wasn't the best week for Deportes Tolima. They lost that final with Atlético Nacional. Actually, they won on the night 2-1, but they lost on aggregate. And 3 days after, they were empty-handed against the Mengao. If you look at the performance, you wouldn't tell that they lost a final 72 hours before, because Tolima played a good match, and the only difference on the night was a superb long-range goal from Andreas Pereira, who now needs to go back to England because Manchester United is going to sell him to Fulham. So that was the farewell for Andreas, who had his best game actually for Flamengo, not only scoring the winning goal, but he ended the game with the captain's armband. Who knows, maybe in the end he even managed in a way to erase his worst memory with Flamengo. That was the mistake in the Libertadores final last year that gave Palmeiras the title. But such is the economic power of Flamengo, Edu, that Pereira is leaving. No problem. We're gonna bring Arturo Vidal. King Arturo is close to sign for the Mengao. He could be playing the Copa Libertadores, although if in the end Vidal signed for Flamengo, he will need to wait for Flamengo to arrive to the semifinals or to reach the semifinals, because that is when the time the CONMEBOL will allow teams to open their list. But that shows you again the power of Flamengo now in South America. The good was weekend for Flamengo. The weekend was good for Flamengo because they won for the first time in the Brasileirao away from home, away from Rio. They won against Santos in Sao Paulo, and it doesn't seem that many Tolima fans believe in their team, but that is even before the first leg, because on Sunday, on the final of the Colombian League against Atlético Nacional, the stadium was packed, 28,000 people. But then against Flamengo, we saw a full empty house, only 14,000 tickets sold. So even before the first leg, the hopes for the Tolima fans were not very, very high. So yes, Flamengo the favorites here, no doubt. Everything is much set up for a quarterfinal against Boca or Corinthians. I will look for Flamengo to win 2-0 with odds of 2.2 and a -1 Asian handicap for the Mengao with odds at 1.79.
Then, Leo, really interesting one. The next one, also a full Argentinian one. River played Velez, because Velez won 1-0 with Jenson scoring the penalty. Still, River are favorites to win this game, 1.6. They won all 3 games playing in the Monumental in this Copa Libertadores. With Velez, they won the last 3. Also in the Libertadores, Nacional, Estudiantes, and the one mentioned against River Plate. How do you see this one? Can you see River with a comeback in the Monumental?
Yes, I can see, and I expect the comeback for River Plate, but they are very lucky when it comes to how it turned out to be the first leg, Edu. It was an opportunity missed by Velez Sarsfield. They had enough clear-cut opportunities to kill the tie and look forward to the quarterfinals. The 1-0 from Janson's goal came from the penalty spot in the first half, but they were much better on the night than Marcelo Gallardo's team. Velez was superior in every aspect of the game: intensity, possession, fitness level. If it wasn't for Velez's inefficacy and Franco Armani's brilliance in goal, we would have been talking of a 3-0 or a 4-0 easily. But if there is anything under the tutelage of Gallardo that we learned, is that if you don't kill River Plate, metaphorically of course, then it's not good for you. Look at Cruzeiro in 2015, when they took to Belo Horizonte a 0-1 lead from the Monumental, but they were crushed 0-3 at home. Look at Jorge Wilstermann in 2019, when they won 3-0 the first leg at home on a night when they could have scored 5 or 6, and then they lost 8-0 in the Monumental the second leg. Look at Argentino Juniors last year, taking a 0-1 from the Monumental in the first leg and then losing at home in the return leg. So I don't want to take anything away from Velez Sarsfield, because I said that last week they are a young team and their display was phenomenal in the Amalfitani, but I believe they didn't take the chance as they should have been. There is something certain here, that is Julian Alvarez will play his last match wearing the red band, because on Friday he's flying to Manchester. Velez, they are hopeful of seeing Diego Godin making his debut with the club. He's working on his fitness level these days to see if he can make it to the Monumental. Velez manager said that they won't speculate in the Monumental, that they will try to play a similar game than in the Amalfitani, although it's going to be a little bit more difficult this time. I expect an open game, yes, with goals over 2.5 standing at 2.1, and identical odds for -1 Asian handicap for River Plate at 2.1 also.
Okay, River Plate Asian handicap -1, so they will qualify, in your opinion?
I believe so, yeah.
And the last game is Estudiantes La Plata Fortaleza, also very open because we had a draw in Fortaleza, and the Brazilian team, they are really struggling in the Brasileirao. They are last after the amazing season they had last year. That's why they are playing for the very first time this Copa Libertadores. But the bookies, Leo, after that draw, they expect Estudiantes to go through to win this game. Odds are still good, actually, if you fancy the Argentinian team, 1.93 for them to win.
Yes, absolutely. And I still believe the Estudiantes has a little edge after what I saw in the first leg. And the moment for Fortaleza, as you mentioned, domestically is very, very, very poor. You have for Estudiantes also his history and mystic playing on their side. In a way, for Fortaleza, they already have achieved a lot by reaching the stage because they never played the Copa Libertadores before. So also in a way, if you look at that way, that this could take a little bit of pressure from Juan Pablo Boda's team. Away from home in this Copa Libertadores, they done it well. Actually, they secured their place in this round of 16 with a 3-4 victory away from home in a difficult environment in Chile against Colo-Colo. So even though their domestic form is far from ideal, it won't be easy for Estudiantes, but I still believe they're favourite to advance. The first leg in Brazil was within the framework we expected, with Fortaleza pressing in the first few minutes and Estudiantes trying to hold a clean sheet beyond the first half. In fact, Silvio Romero's goal fell in the 55th minute of the game. The best thing for Estudiantes was that they managed to equalize pretty much very quickly, just 8 minutes later with a goal from Leandro Diaz, the number 9. The debut from Roleiser was very good. Roleiser is a young Argentinian forward who was formed in River Plate, and he came for free to Estudiantes because he did not agree to the conditions of the renewal of his contract. So I believe he could play also a good big part in this second leg. I will look for Estudiantes a straight win, Edu, as you mentioned, with those odds, and also a pincha rata to score first has odds of 1.75 for this return leg between Estudiantes and Atletico Paranaense.
I love, Leo, the nickname of Estudiantes.
Yeah. Pincha ratas, yes.
How would you translate that? Nail the rat or something like this?
Something like that, yes.
Something like that in English. All right, Leo, let's go with your ACCA for this second batch of games.
All right, so goals over 2.5 in Atletico Mineiro Emelec.
Mm-hmm.
Goals under 2.5 in Colón Talleres.
Mm-hmm.
Palmeiras to score in both halves against Deportes Tolima. Goals over 2.5 in River against Velez Sarsfield. And Estudiantes to score first against Fortaleza. All this leaves me with an ACCA of 18.68.
Okay, Leo, thank you as always. Let's enjoy the Copa Libertadores and let's see each other with the quarterfinals, of course. Bye-bye.
Absolutely, Edu. My pleasure. Bye-bye.
We have our tips, we have our bets. Let's enjoy this Copa Libertadores. Remember, guys, leave your comments, press the like, subscribe. Remember also that we have a podcast for you, and keep enjoying the Copa Libertadores. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.